Hey everyone, welcome to Furniture Recreated. My name is Melanie, this is Ted, and this is an end table that I would like to update, make it a little more modern and perhaps, maybe, a little cool. Stick around. Before I start removing anything, I kind of assess the piece to see what it is I want to take off and what I want to leave behind. You can find out more about that. I have a short all about demo. I wanted to put legs on this, so I needed to get off this bottom part so I'd have a flat surface to put my new legs. I use painter's tape to make my line, and then I went across it to make sure that it was going to be straight, and then I used my multi-tool to cut off that portion. The tape really helps keep you in a straight line, but even if you don't quite get this line straight, you can always put trim on the bottom, which is what I did. This is not real wood, so all I had to do was scuff it up and get it ready to paint. I took some cranberry and I've got a brand new jar of midnight blue. I've been adding it to the cranberry. This is appearing to be on the reddish side of purple, and I need it to be on the bluish side. So I'm going to add a little more. Oh, and I keep missing. What is wrong with me? Wow. Should really learn to pour straight. This is kind of my inspiration, but I'm going to lighten it up. I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. I don't want it too light. Yep. I like that color. I think that's it. The other color is called Ginger Apricot, and this is from Melange. It's a special edition tea garden collection. Very pretty. If I decide to use these, I think that might look nice. I wanted to get rid of the old pulls that were on the drawers, and I wanted to add knobs. So I needed to fill in the holes with some wood filler, sand it back, and then get it ready to paint. Here I'm using a finishing pad, which I highly recommend. You use it between coats and, of course, when you're all finished painting to make it nice and smooth. As you see here, I didn't cut in first, which means I didn't paint along the edge with a brush, but I got back to it later. It's always good to do that first, but it didn't hurt anything. This is a tack cloth, and I find this so satisfying because it is so good at picking up all of the dust that's left behind from sanding. And you always want to use a tack cloth before you start, hey look, I'm cutting in, before you start painting. You may not be able to see in the video, but this is where those holes were, and I'm using 120 grit sandpaper very lightly to smooth this over. These can be stubborn spots, so you need to take the time and do it right. I used my miter saw to cut up some trim to add underneath the top, and we will talk more about that in a minute. All you need to do here is measure twice and drill once or cut once. I am putting a hole here for my knob. It's so simple. Just make sure you measure correctly. Measure from side to side and from top to bottom to make sure you get the center. Now that I have that flat surface I need to put on the legs, I mark out the holes, drill my holes, and then screw the legs on. It's very simple to do. Just make sure you pre-drill. I took off the original trim, and I liked this trim because it matches the sides. I think it's a nice texture. What I'm doing here is I'm measuring on both sides so that they are centered, because I can't get one more tile in there so that they fit all the way to the end. So I decided to just center them and make it the same on both sides, a little space, and then I glued them down, and then I put top coat on. I didn't add any natural stain, no color. I just put the top coat on because I did. I liked it this color. When you decide to put transfers on, there is some thought that goes behind it, and I find that when I cut them all apart, I can move them around and kind of mess with them so that I can decide what the design should be. You can find out more about transfers in a couple of my videos, and you can find those at the end of this one. You need to take your time when you're doing a transfer. If you get a little anxious and you pull it off faster than you should, then you probably are going to ruin the image. So you see here, I'm pressing it down. You want to use some kind of plastic or rubber, and you can gradually push on it until it gets transferred, and you pull off the plastic a little bit at a time. I like how this looks, except if you look on the side, my drawer doesn't go all the way in because I didn't measure that trim. You need to put the drawer in first to see where that trim needs to go, but I forgot to do that. So I'm using my multi-tool to take off the edge here. Unfortunately, this had been glued for quite some time, but clearly it needed to be overnight because it was still not dry, and you can see here they popped right off when I tried to cut them. So instead of trying to mess with that, I decided to take them all off and get rid of all that glue and start all over again. Now I hope I can find some use for all of that trim I took off. But I'm back to the drawing board. I'm cutting more trim and getting ready to measure it all over again and glue them all on. But this time, the drawer will go all the way in. I think this project went very smoothly. I really like this color I came up with. It's kind of an indigo color, and I think it goes really nicely with this really soft apricot. It's so pretty. And I'm very happy with these little transfers. I like to work with end tables and make them fun. And if you have an end table sitting around, give it a shot, use it as a blank canvas, and have some fun with it. Thank you for being here. Good luck on your next project, and I will see you next time.
You can do it.
Thanks for watching my video. You can find more videos just like this on my YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe.